On July 4th, 1776, 2 days after voting to declare independence from Britain, the Second Continental Congress approves the Declaration of Independence. But was the Declaration of Independence signed on July 4th? And how many original copies of the Declaration are known to exist today? Also, which important founding father did not sign the Declaration? The first draft of the Declaration of Independence had been written by Thomas Jefferson of Virginia. After 2 days of heated debate, the final version was approved at Independence Hall in Philadelphia. Because they were printed by Philadelphian John Dunlap, the first copies of the Declaration are known as the Dunlap Broadsides, about 200 of which were produced, and just 26 are known to survive today. Only 2 printed signatures appear on the Dunlap Broadsides, those of John Hancock, the president of the Second Continental Congress, and Charles Thomson, the official secretary of the Congress. These Dunlap Broadsides came earlier than the more famous signed copy of the Declaration of Independence, which is often called the engrossed copy, the parchment copy, or the Matlack copy, since it was likely handwritten by Timothy Matlack, who served as a clerk to the Second Continental Congress. This handwritten copy was not, as many mistakenly believe, signed on July 4th, 1776. It was, rather, produced sometime between July 19th and August 2nd, 1776, which was the day when the signing actually began. The signers of this most famous copy of the Declaration are not identical to those who voted to approve it back on July 4th, as some delegates were no longer in Philadelphia and some new ones had arrived. For example, Robert Livingston, one of the Committee of 5 tasked with drafting the Declaration, did not sign it since he was recalled to New York soon after July 4th. He sent his cousin, Philip Livingston, to sign the document in his place. Surprisingly to some, George Washington neither voted in favor of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, nor did he sign the handwritten copy on August 2nd, nor any time thereafter. Why not? Well, he was, of course, busy serving as the commanding general of the Continental Army, and was therefore no longer a delegate to the Continental Congress. He was, in fact, in New York City at the time, preparing for battle. After receiving a copy of the Declaration there, he did have it read aloud to his troops on July 9th. The silver inkstand used in the signing of both the Declaration of Independence and, 11 years later, the U.S. Constitution can be viewed, along with an original Dunlap broadside, in the Great Essentials exhibit at Independence National Historic Park in Philadelphia. 3 of the surviving Dunlap broadsides are now found, interestingly enough, in the UK, at the National Archives in London. One was sent to London by Admiral Richard Howe in July 1776. Another was sent by that same admiral and his brother General William Howe in August 1776. And another was discovered in a box of documents in 2008. How it got there is a mystery. The more famous handwritten copy of the Declaration of Independence can be viewed today at the Rotunda in the National Archives building in Washington, D.C., alongside the original copies of the Articles of Confederation, the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, the Emancipation Proclamation, and one of the surviving 26 Dunlap Broadsides. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1817, workers in Rome, New York break ground on the Erie Canal, which is completed 8 years later. In 1826, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams both die on the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. In 1863, one day after the Union victory at Gettysburg, Confederate forces surrender at Vicksburg. In 1924, in Tijuana, Mexico, Italian-born restaurateur Cesare Cardini invents the Caesar salad. In 1939, baseball great Lou Gehrig gives his luckiest man speech at a ceremony in Yankee Stadium. In 1991, the National Civil Rights Museum is dedicated at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. In 2022, a gunman at an Independence Day parade in the Chicago suburb of Highland Park kills 7 people. And now it's time for our Today in History quiz. During which conflict was the U.S. voting age lowered from 21 to 18? World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, or the Gulf War? Liked learning about the Declaration of Independence? Then you'll love this one about another of America's founding documents, the Constitution. Tap the screen to keep the story going on Today in History.